I never liked the basement of the Miller Sloan corporate headquarters. It is a cavernous, concrete ribcage of a building, buried deep beneath the city streets where the air tastes like ozone and stale copper. My job title was supposed to be simple: server maintenance specialist. They told me the work was dull, that the machines were reliable, and that I would essentially be a glorified babysitter for a wall of blinking lights. They lied. Started on my third night. The shift began at exactly midnight, the hour when the silence of the facility becomes heavy, pressing against your eardrums like a physical weight. I descended into the sub-basement, the air growing colder with every flight of stairs I navigated. The server room itself was an aisle-heavy maze of black towers, a labyrinth of glass and fiber optics that stretched into the shadows. The sound hit me before I even reached the door. It was the mechanical hum of 1,000 cooling fans, but it wasn't the uniform drone of machinery. It was a melody, a rhythmic, discordant, haunting lullaby that felt like it was being sung by 1,000 metallic throats. I froze in the doorway. The fans were fluctuating in pitch, rising and falling in perfect, unsettling harmony. It sounded like a nursery rhyme I hadn't heard since I was 5 years old, a song my mother used to hum when the storms raged outside. I dismissed it as a psychosomatic reaction to the isolation, a trick of the acoustics playing off the cooling ducts. I walked to the main terminal, my boots clicking sharply against the raised metal floor. When the screen flickered to life, my heart stopped. It wasn't the system diagnostic I expected. It was a live feed of my own living room. The resolution was crystal clear, a crisp high-definition window into the house I had left just 2 hours ago. My wife, Sarah, was asleep on the couch, the television casting a flickering blue light across her face. I reached out to touch the screen, a nauseating dread swirling in my gut. I moved the cursor, and the camera on the screen shifted. It was tracking her. It was mounted from the corner of the ceiling, a place where I didn't even have a security camera installed. I watched, paralyzed, as the smart speakers in my living room began to glow a soft, ominous violet. They were activating on their own. Sarah stirred, her eyes fluttering open, and I watched through the screen as she tilted her head, listening to something I couldn't hear. The room in the basement was suddenly filled with the same whisper voices that were currently pouring from my own speakers 3 miles away. They were speaking my name, over and over. My name was being woven into the mechanical hum of the server fans, a layered digital prayer. I tried to pull the plug to sever the connection, but the port was jammed. The cables beneath the floor began to pulse, a rhythmic throb that matched the heartbeat I felt pounding against my ribs. I turned to run, but the heavy steel door to the server room slammed shut with the finality of a coffin lid. The screens began to cycle. They weren't just showing my living room anymore. Now it was the hallway. My front door was standing wide open, though I knew I had locked it. A shadow was creeping across the floorboards, a dark, spindly thing that moved with the jagged grace of an insect. I screamed for help, but my voice was swallowed by the hum. The fans were screaming now, a high-pitched, harmonic shriek that tore at my sanity. I saw a figure emerge from the darkness of my hallway. It looked like me. It wore my clothes, my tired expression, the same slight slouch I had developed after years of sitting in front of monitors. But the eyes, they were hollowed-out voids of static, flickering white noise where pupils should have been. The entity on the screen stopped and looked directly into the camera lens, directly at me. It smiled, and the skin of its face stretched unnaturally, tearing at the corners of its mouth. It reached out a hand, and as it did, my own hand began to bleed. I looked down, horrified, to see deep, jagged lacerations appearing on my palm, mirroring the movements of the thing on the screen. It was sinking us. Every pain it felt, I felt. Every movement it made, I was forced to replicate. I stumbled backward, crashing into a rack of servers, and the figure on the screen did the exact same, its body jolting against a wall in my hallway. I was a puppet, and this room was the puppeteer. The nursery rhyme started up again, louder now, vibrating through the very soles of my feet. The cooling fans were spinning so fast they were blurring into a wall of gray steel. The temperature in the server room began to plummet, my breath turning into thick, white plumes of frost that hung in the air. I realized then that this room wasn't just storing data. It was harvesting lives. It was collecting experiences, moments, and memories, digitizing them and trapping them in a cold, eternal loop of surveillance and suffering. The door began to glow red-hot, the metal buckling under an unseen pressure. The figure on the screen was now walking toward the camera, getting closer, larger, until its face filled the entire monitor. It reached through the glass, actually reached through the hardware, and I felt icy, static-filled fingers wrap around my throat. The pain was absolute, a searing electric shock that burned through my nervous system. Couldn't breathe, couldn't scream. I could only watch as the screen reflected my own face turning purple, my eyes bulging in terror. The room grew darker, the light from the servers dimming until only the flickering void of the screens remained. I felt my consciousness slipping, my identity being pulled out of my body and channeled through the miles of fiber optic cables, uploaded into the machine. The last thing I heard was the melody, the perfect, chilling, synthetic lullaby, as I felt myself becoming part of the hum. I am not the technician anymore. I am the data. I am the feed. And somewhere, in a basement far away, the fans are waiting for you to come home.